I use Adobe Photoshop almost every day, definitely every week, and I'm constantly in there just learning and trying to do cooler stuff and finding new clients that I can work with and improving my skills in there, which is great, but that comes with a cost. Not only the time that I've put into it, but also the money that I had to put up front to buy this program, and now that they're on a monthly subscription, like I have to keep paying on to use this tool. So instead of jumping right into that, like, okay, I want to learn how to design, let me go ahead and take on this monthly payment. Instead, you can use this free website that they have for you to also use to start to learn a little bit about the Adobe world and how these tools work. And then when you're ready to evolve, or you feel like you're being creatively limited, sorry.
Stifled.
You're being limited creatively.
I don't want to be a designer, but I'm finding Spark very interesting because it allows me to test things quickly. And for what I'm trying to do now with a lot more marketing, it's almost like the same graphics that I'm using for the design, I can sprinkle into my post,
marketing,
into the pins, into the stuff that we are doing. And it's a very easy transition because everything is within that tool. I don't have to take it out of that tool and then go to another tool. As with some of the other programs that I used, I know I was like, okay, I want to do this, and then I have to move this information over to this tool. Especially with KDP, it seems a little problematic sometimes when you're trying to make covers or internals. There's like no one tool that will do everything. But I enjoy Spark because I can create a lot in there and then move right over to my marketing within the same tool. So it's interesting that you said, like, if you want to be more creative, go to another platform, because Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop allows you a lot more creativity and you can kind of really get down to the nitty gritty. But for me, speed is what I'm after. So creating the design and then going right into marketing is a great reason why I like Spark and why I've used it a lot more. Is even if the team is creating a lot of that stuff, I'm pulling those elements and adding it to that program and then doing the marketing straight out of there.
Yeah, I was all geeked up like 2 years ago when I first found out about Spark to like get Steven to like start learning a little bit about it just so I could laugh at him and be like, oh, your creativity is horrible. But now he's like using Spark more than he's asking me for graphics, and I'm a little offended. I'm glad that things are getting done quicker, but I mean, this tool just enables people to be creative, and they've baked in so much of their just Adobe knowledge into this thing that it allows you to be creative fairly quickly and easily without the years and years that I've put into learning graphic design software and design principles and all of this stuff as well. So it is cool to see now Steven is like, he'll just do stuff and then I'll see it pop up. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, that looks really good. I don't remember making that. And I'm like, oh yeah, Steven made that with Spark. So it's really cool to see, how this tool has enabled just even my brother, someone I work with very closely, but all these people in our community that I've been constantly preaching this thing to, because it is just a great platform.
I guess another thing to talk it up is when you have full creative responsibility, you're starting from a clean slate. With Spark, you have the choice. You can either use their template or use information that's already in there. And it helps me, because when I go, okay, I want a cat face, or I can just type in the word cat and then have stuff to choose or pick from. If I was trying to design that myself, I would have to make that, and it really would hinder me in my creativity. Whereas in Spark, especially for marketing, there's a lot of stuff in the marketing, and it's almost like a plug and play. Like, I'll make the elements that I want, and then I'm just moving them around to make them look as good as I can, and then just get it out the door. Whereas Nathaniel, I think, will make way better designs, but I can knock them out now. I don't know about just as fast, but it allows me to do it instead of having to consistently rely on Nathaniel, where it's like, okay, I want to change and do the marketing this way. I know you have your teams doing this. I can now at least insert myself and go, okay, I can just knock these out real quick and not have to bother Nathaniel's team.
So I just want to kind of show off some of the new things that they've done, because they keep updating this tool. Another reason I love Adobe, they have a whole team that's dedicated to this software. It's not just like some throwaway thing that they made 8 years ago and it's still kind of kicking. Like, no, this thing is constantly being updated. They're actually implicating things that allow us to use it better for KDP and Merch by Amazon and print on demand in general, which is very nice of them. And they have a whole community built around this thing. It's for your phone. It's all these great things. I could keep talking about it. But I think it is time to just open this up and show you the one feature that I want to talk about right now, if that's okay.
If you'd like a full deep dive on any of these tools, let us know. or if you have any other suggestions for tools. I see some people asking in chat for other art tools. At the end, after you show this tool, maybe we can just do a Q&A, and you can kind of knock out those questions.
There are some questions that I want to answer, but we'll wait a second. I'll jump into the screen first. So let me show off Spark. So maybe I should have showed me logging in. It's not that interesting, but just the fact that this is a free tool, you can literally go to spark.adobe.com, sign up. You can use your Google account. You can use like 10 different types of accounts, so you don't even have to sign up directly with Adobe if you don't want to, which is very cool of them. And this is the dashboard that you kind of come to now. It looks a lot different than it did back in the day, which I am a big fan of because it allows you to be a little bit more organized, and it's going to suggest things that like the recent projects that you're working on, some stuff that me and Steven were messing around with, or like templates that are relevant to things that you've been making, or even the sizes of these projects that you should be making. So if you're making something for Instagram, whether it's the story or an actual Instagram post, like they have you covered for all these different sizes to make sure that your graphics look good, which is very nice of them. So if I, over here on the left-hand side, there's kind of tabs that you can click through to see the different things that you have going on. I just want to really quickly show you, this is not the one thing I want to talk about, but it just crossed my mind. Talking about organization, which is extremely important. They now allow you to put different projects in these folders. So this was just a random thing that I was working on. This is a print on demand, so I can just drag it into that print on demand folder, and now I am organized, which I really love because you can see we do quite a few different things with this program. So not to have just one long list that you have to like scroll through forever to find a thing. That's what I'm talking about. Like they're constantly just making this a website better as they're hearing feedback from the community, which is really cool. Okay, finally, the one thing that I wanted to show off. Right here, it says social media tips. This is usually whatever they think their community is asking for the most, or the most new content that they've put out. But this just takes you to the blog. For most of the like upgrades and patches and whatever you want to call it for a website, I've noticed down here in the right-hand corner, it doesn't stick out very much, but there is the word blog, and this is basically like a free education for all things design, which is super cool. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And this
that pop-up I don't think showed.
There was no pop-up. It's just a little button in the bottom right. I'll go back and show it again. You can barely see it. It's a little silly that they hide it like this.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I've not seen that.
A little button down here called blog. Again, you could click this social media tips. It's going to take you to the same place. It's just going to direct you to the exact area that they want you to look at. But this blog, they also have inspiration, which is cool if you want to look at that another time. But this blog is separated into different sections. So if you want to do like something for education, that's like actually making content for education, which is cool to look at. Or the thing that I want to show off here tonight is these design principles. Earlier today, I was just scrolling through and seeing all the updated cool information that they've added, not only to the blog in general, but this specific area, which is, you know, teaching you guys the design principles. So if you do want to take this a little bit more seriously, if you don't want to just use, you know, the great templates that are built into this thing, they are trying to teach you like how to use color differently, how to use video, and this one in particular is actually something I've talked about before, which is really cool, which is like kind of specializing in a certain type of art. And so for this one, it's talking about famous music festival posters and how to get inspired by them and take elements of them or take inspiration from them to use in your design. So you might not be designing exactly a music festival poster, but there are things in here that you could use in your next designs, even from like the colors and how they're making these different styles work together. So it's just really cool to see that they spent time to break all of these down, even talking about like the color study of each of these and how to draw your eyes to certain positions and all of that. It's just an interesting read. And again, this is just free information they're putting out there for you. You don't have to go to a college of design or pay to take any online course or anything like that. This is just all free information.
Sounds like you're a little jaded for spending all that money on graphic design, brother.
Well, that's why I said, like, I felt a little jealous to see that Steven was using this tool so effectively, but if you spend a little bit of time and do some reading, like, you can be a pretty effective, you know, I don't know, graphic designer, but you can be pretty effective at creating designs and things for your business, which is super cool. So doing a little bit of reading here, but you see this just keeps going on and on and on, which is lovely and great that there's so much information out here. And it's not rare that they actually have their team dedicated to Adobe Spark do like an hour-long live
Q&A.
where they're just doing Q&A, or they're talking about specific things and actually going over the shoulder, and like they're just trying to get more creativity out in the world. That is their goal. They're not trying to nickel and dime everybody into like buying their big package software, because they're the leaders in this industry. So they don't need to keep patting themselves on the back. They're like, we're just making cool stuff. We want people to use it. So yes, I am an Adobe fanboy, so I'll stop talking about them now. But
Actually, I wanted you to, if you open back up that tool, I know you don't want to go in depth on the actual tool and how to use it, but for anybody that has never seen it, if you want to just open it up to the point where you start a project,
okay,
and then hit that button to remove the branding, just so people can get their feet wet.
okay.
We do have a lot of videos on this tool specifically inside our channel. Nathaniel's actually made a course explaining how to use Adobe Spark with merch, how to use Adobe Spark with KDP, how to make the covers, how to do internals, how to just use the tool to the fullest to get the most out of it so that you can make very competitive designs within that free tool. So if you would like that, that will definitely be in the description. Or if you just want us to learn more about the tool, we also have free training that will also be in the description for a playlist that we put that together. But that tool does a bunch, and it's not really geared up for print on demand, but Nathaniel has gone in there and has a depth of knowledge on the POD business and has found ways to use that tool to cater to our business.
Yeah, so while it is a free tool, it may seem weird to pay for training for it, but like I said, it's not, or like Steven said, it's not exactly set up to do what we're doing. So you just have to think a little bit of outside the box. And so I put all that knowledge in that course and just showed me using this tool also on YouTube if you're interested and want to know more. To show you guys how to use this tool, the very basics of what you have to know is that they will put branding on everything that you make inside of Spark unless you remove it. And it's actually free to remove it. You just have to know exactly how to do it. I think that's what Steven wanted me to show off.
Yeah,
so
just because we talked about it, we don't want to get anybody in trouble. It's a very simple thing, just showing it over the shoulder.
Yes. Up here on the top left-hand side, there's this Create Project button. And you can go ahead and click that. It's going to ask you what you're going to want to design, but we want to do a custom-sized graphic. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And I'm going to do this specifically for a Merch by Amazon design, since that's what I have done most of the teaching with in this tool. But there are, like Steven said, you can do covers for KDP and a variety of other things as well. For this, we're going to make the width 4,500 and the height 5,400. And that is in pixels. Again, if you're designing something else, they give you millimeters and inches, which is very nice of them. But 4,500 by 5,400 is the exact size that you have to use to make a Merch by Amazon t-shirt and a variety of other products. There are different sizes now that Merch by Amazon has other apparel and things in there, but for the basic t-shirt, this is the exact sizing that you have to use. But this is what the tool looks like. So all of your menu options and everything are off to the right-hand side, but I'm not going to dive too deep into that. What we're interested in here is at the bottom of the actual space that you get to create in, which I call the artboard, there's going to be this branding down here at the bottom. You can see, even if I hover over it, this remove button pops up. If I go ahead and hit or click on this, it's going to say that we can either remove once or learn more, which is basically going to take you to their sales page. And I think either way, yeah, it's still going to take us to their sales page. So both those buttons go to the same thing. But it's just going to tell you how great this is. You can start using it for free by hitting this Get Started button. Or if you are doing something with a lot of branding for social media, then I would look into the paid options. But for what we're doing, the paid options don't actually help you with too much, besides maybe take away the annoyance of having to click twice and get rid of this ad. So if that's worth $10 a month, that's completely up to you. But you can either hit this Get Started button, or at the very top right-hand corner, just like the blog button, they like to hide it, is this little X that you can go ahead and click on. And then you can start designing whatever you want. And when you download it, it will not have Adobe's name in the bottom right-hand corner, so you won't run into any trademark or copyright problems when uploading. So even, let me also say this, there are images baked into this program, and all of them come from either free-to-use software or licenses that Adobe is paying for us to use. So earlier, Stephen was talking about you can just type in the word cat, and so if I go to Icon and I type in, I told you not to let me open this thing. If you type in cat, these are all images you can use, and they're from the Noun Project, which is a company that is putting out all these great images, and they're from all these different designers, but usually you have to pay to use these for commercial use, but Adobe is paying that license for us. So you go ahead and click, not click and drag, just click it once, and then it's going to pop in, and then you can drag this thing around and use it however you want. So that's super cool that they allow us to use all these things for free and for commercial use.
As a bonus, you're going to have to show off my favorite part of the tool now. Just type in something.
Okay.
Just type in any text so that you can show off my favorite part of that tool.
All right, so we'll add some text. Oops.
This is how I'm able to be an amazing designer.
So when you type in a text thing, it allows you to go down. Your menu over here actually changes, and it allows you to go down to the Style tab at the bottom. And this is Steven's favorite tool,
Spin
if that's
to
the
win,
way
baby.
you want to think about it. But it gives you this dial, I guess, that you can spin. And if you watch the artboard over here, it's actually just going to change how this text looks in a variety of different ways. So it's going to give you different fonts, different colors, the sizing basically the same, but different fonts and different colors. And it's just very cool to see how it enables you to be creative by giving you different options. So like Steven said, you don't just have a blank canvas to stare at and scratch your head and try to figure out colors and all of that, but it will give you these different options to look at, and also depending on like the other things that you have on your artboard and some of the other things that you can go in here and change, it will give you different options. So it's not just as straightforward as you might think. So it's a very cool tool. Like I said, it enables you to be creative without having to do all of the hours and hours and hours it takes to learn Photoshop, or just watching YouTube tutorials the way that I learned to get good at making design. So it's just a really cool tool. Lots of possibilities are open because of this.
Yeah, I guess let me just plug your course a little bit more shamelessly. We did just scratch the surface. Like Nathaniel showed, that little spinning tool, that's one of my favorite tools in there, just because I don't have to be a graphic designer. I can just kind of put what I want there and then manipulate that tool, and then it will help me create something that really stands out. There are more options like that in the tool. There's a lot more usability to that tool. Like I said, we just barely scratched the surface, but if you're interested in using that tool for the print-on-demand business, Nathaniel has put a course together. If you'd like to pick that up, click the link in the description. And like I said, we don't always just try to push you into paid things. If you just want to learn some more usability of that tool, Nathaniel has also made a lot of videos on this channel. He shows you how to import images in there, how to use it for thumbnails, a lot of other things that he's put together in a playlist, because we truly do want to help you guys, but we are a business. We have to make money somewhere. Nathaniel is trying to give you the quickest way to learn that and be able to scale your business with a course. All right, shameless plug over, brother. It's all you.
Okay. But like Steven said, that's what the course is aimed at. It's just to cut to the chase of how to use this thing specifically for print on demand, because while there is all that great education in there, none of it is going to tell you how to do it for print on demand specifically. So there's just a lot of things that I've learned over the years now of using this tool that I've baked into that course, and we are adding to it slowly, more slowly than I would like sometimes, but whenever we see a major update or anything like that, we try to go in and just spruce up that content as well, giving you guys more and more to look forward to. So a living and breathing course, as we call it.